Today on Black Twitter Talk, we are talking Cap So Black, 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick turned activist, and we're talking the DCCC Memo leak, and we got a special guest in studio, Thurz. Stay tuned. Hey. It's my jam off of the Designer EP.
Super funky.
Hey, that 80s bop is so fun. Hey. Thanks for tuning in to Black Twitter Talk. I am your host, Angie Skates. Hey,
What's up, you guys?
Wait, let me tell them where they can find me first. They can find me on Twitter at Angie_Skates.
What's up? I'm Kels. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at The Urban Gypsy LA.
And we got a special guest in the studio, Thurz.
What up, y'all? What up?
Where can we find you, Thurz?
I'm on Twitter at Thursday with a Z, and I'm on Instagram, King Thurz with a Z. So look me up, add me.
Hey, it's the Inglewood party up in the studio today.
Inglewood.
We're repping that black excellence, that Inglewood all day today.
For sure.
On this special holiday weekend.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. We got some good topics today. So let's just get right into it.
Let's do it.
Colin Kaepernick. Is that how you say it? Kaepernick? I'm not a football fan. Thurz,
I'm not a big football fan, but I have taken notice to him, and I think it's Kaepernick.
Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's like a backup quarterback for the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a lot of discussion around him because he sits during the national anthem.
Right.
It's a peaceful protest, right? He's protesting oppression in the black community, police violence, a lot of things that he wants to bring to light. And he's been receiving a lot of backlash for it, of course. But Black Twitter is caping for him.
They are.
They are. Hashtag Cap So Black.
Right, because people started questioning how black is he.
Because he's like biracial, and he was adopted and raised by white parents, right?
Right.
And he usually wears his little curly fro, but he picked it out for the last game.
Yeah,
and
every game it
It's a
seems
big
like it's
statement.
getting bigger.
Yeah, and Twitter is loving it so far.
They've been going hard on the tweet. Somebody tweeted, bruh, Cap's fro. Cap so black, he got a diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging in the scene with a gangster lean. And then someone else tweeted, Cap so black, he's sending a letter saying he'll only stand if they change the anthem to Nup if you buck.
Hey,
I'm with that.
Right?
They should start a petition for that.
right? Like, let's talk about the national anthem. Do y'all even like it?
Man, I know my boy was talking about a verse that's left off.
Yeah, the third verse,
Yeah,
right?
the third verse. We were talking about that, and it talks about
It says
pretty much
like,
dead slaves.
yeah, it says no refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight and the gloom of the grave.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I know at that time, I think the British were telling that they were going to liberate a few blacks if they came and fought for them.
Right.
And so, yeah, I guess that was directed at those blacks that went and fought for the British.
Right.
Yeah.
So Colin Kaepernick is sitting in peaceful protest of the national anthem, which is a representation of the oppression that a lot of the black community faces in America. How about John Legend proposed to rewrite the national anthem?
Yeah.
Man, that'd be awesome.
I think it's about
That would be
time.
really dope. He tweeted too. He was like, "How many of y'all that are against Kaepernick doing what he did, or Kaepernick, sorry, how many of y'all actually like the national anthem?" He's like, "I could sing it well, and I still don't like it."
Exactly. So
And that's why I feel like the issue is not with the national anthem. It's just with social order. Like, it's like you are not doing what you're supposed to do, so we have a problem with you following the rules.
yeah, it's not about patriotism. It's about obedience. And
Yeah.
forget that. Like we're not with that.
I totally agree. Totally.
Right.
It definitely
Like-
needs to be rewritten. I mean, low-key needs to just start all over.
Right. It's so old. Like it doesn't resonate with our generation at all.
Yeah.
And like, what does the national anthem really have to do with football anyway?
Silence.
I don't know.
It's quiet for you.
So Kaepernick clearly has a plan. I feel like this was very methodical for him, the timing and what he's doing, not only just in peaceful protest, but he's donated $1 million to charity. I think 60,000 of it so far has gone to school-age children so that they can get school supplies for the school year that's starting up. And he has reached out to several different organizations. He's becoming very active, and a lot of people are showing their support on Twitter. What some people have done is try to pit veterans against him, saying that Kaepernick, you are spoiled, like you have $100 million contract, like what could you possibly be oppressed by? You have people that have fought for you to be able to do what you do on this platform, and this is how you react. But then Twitter came back at him like veterans for Kaepernick hashtag, and they were sharing all these incredible stories about how they support him.
I think it's crazy that they even tried to start that narrative of the veterans against them, because the way we treat our veterans is ridiculous in the first place. A lot of them are homeless. They don't get the medical attention, the financial support that they need. So how can you even say that?
I run into so many veterans like across Skid Row. I have like a little studio over there, and sometimes I just walk around downtown, and there's so many people that have served that are just out there. So it's crazy to see that.
And we support you. We support you, Kaepernick. Like, keep doing what you're doing. For sure.
I think he has the biggest platform to even say anything. Like, you don't see any sports players taking a stance like that
at all. And
salute to him.
For sure. And then like the fact that people are equating his $100 million contract with freedom, like he couldn't possibly be oppressed in other ways, or the fact that his community is still oppressed, like that, it resonates with him. There are other things that are of importance besides money, clearly.
I feel like that's like saying, oh, because you're a house slave, you shouldn't want to run away.
Exactly.
Like,
you got a nice cushy bed. What else could you
better
want?
Be grateful, boy. Like, no.
That's crazy.
I mean, we're caping for you, Kaepernick, over here at Black Twitter Talk.
Yeah, man, keep rocking the afro.
I'm feeling it.
Like, does he have a girlfriend? I'm not asking for me. I'm just asking in general.
He need a coconut oil sponsorship.
Yeah, he do. He needs somebody to grease his scalp. All that hair up there. Anyway, the DCCC memo leak. Have you guys heard about that? The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. There was a memo leak that came from November of 2015. It was sent by Troy Perry, who actually works on the Clinton campaign currently, but it came from the minority Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi's computer, so to speak, and it was published on a Russian blog called Guccifer Blog 2.0. And it basically tells them how to handle Black Lives Matter activists, saying not to support policy platform that we are, and I say we because I like to imagine myself as a Black Lives Matter activist. But they're saying pretty much don't entertain any policy platform, don't use things like black on black crime, don't say these in conversation with them, try to engage them in small groups. What do you guys think about this? Seeing as though the election as of right now, it's pretty much both candidates are
it's pretty wild.
It is
wild time.
On one hand, I get when they're like coaching them, saying don't bring up all lives matter, don't bring on black crime, because that's any PR strategy. You need to inform whoever the person is the things that they should not say, because that would cause issues if they were to say that. But it's the part when they're saying, like, don't talk about the prison industrial complex, don't support this form on X, Y, and Z. It's like, these are issues that are affecting all of us. And the fact that you guys are just going to basically say what you need to say to get the conversation to go through smoothly, but we're not going to actually do anything about those issues. Don't take a stance on it. That part is the part that's crazy to me.
The part that is ridiculous, because obviously the Democratic Party needs our support in order to pull through and get rid of that other idiot. But this did happen a long time ago.
Yeah, it was November 2015.
And then
too long ago.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's long enough to where they should have an actual full-on stance on these issues, though.
True.
At that time, I can see them not going into meetings and saying, like, this is what I'm going to do for you guys, because they're not at that point yet. But at this point, they should have a stance.
And the Black Lives Matter movement started with the hashtag that was surrounded around the Mike Brown shooting in Ferguson. It's been 3 years since, and we have definitely evolved into, I think, an indelible political platform that has specific policies that cater to the Black community specifically, and that pretty much generally says that all Black lives have value, point blank in the period. And Megyn Kelly, the National Press Secretary for the DCCC, she did release a statement saying that we will not allow this hacking to distract from our common goals and disparage the Black Lives Matter movement. So I feel like maybe their ideas have since advanced.
I would hope so, but my thought is a lot of people keep saying that they're not going to vote this term.
I don't think that's the answer.
I don't think so either. What do you think, Thurz?
I don't think that's the answer, but I know a lot of people feel like there is no real solution to where we at right now. It's kind of a lesser of two evils, but it's still not even really like a lesser situation. But Trump is definitely not an option
at all.
Yeah, it's a crazy time, man. It's a crazy time. Like, there's no one that's really fully representing the people as a presidential candidate. So I feel what people are experiencing.
Yeah, and I feel like, we got to do what we got to do to get those parties out of the situation as a whole. But in the next 4 years coming up, we want to be in a position where we do actually have a candidate that represents us, that is, more fitting of the things that will elevate us, not just as a Black community, but as a country.
And I guess that's my issue with people who are saying so adamantly that they're not going to vote and kind of encouraging other people not to vote. My thing is, what are you encouraging them to do instead? Like, you're not saying, oh, so don't vote because instead we're going to do this. You're just saying don't vote because they need to see that our vote is important. They already know our vote is important. That's why they're, like, marketing to us and catering to us in certain instances. Yeah.
I think we just need to keep fully recognizing our power, united.
And our dollar.
And our dollars. Our dollars. We are the number one consumers in this country.
Right.
For sure. I want to talk a little bit about Lena Dunham. Do you even know who Lena Dunham is?
Fill me.
Okay. So
wait. Do you know who she is, though?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I don't think I've heard that name.
That's good. That's the general consensus in the community. Like, not a lot of people know who she is, and they're saying that she's really narcissistic for having this attitude that people should know who she is. Okay. She's the creator of Girls, which is an HBO series that a lot of people had issues with because she didn't have any people of color in her cast. But she was at the Met Gala, and I guess she was sitting at the table with New York Giants Odell Beckham Jr., and she did an interview with Amy Schumer for this weekly newsletter that she calls Lenny's Letter, where she totally projected her own insecurities onto this man who had no idea who she was, who didn't even actually interact with her. Yeah. And let me just read a little bit of what she said. She goes, "I was sitting next to Odell Beckham Jr., and it was so amazing because it was like he looked at me and determined I was not the shape of a woman by his standards. He was like, that's a marshmallow, that's a child, that's a dog. It wasn't mean, he just seemed confused. The vibe was very much like, do I want to F it? It's wearing a tuxedo. I'm going back to my cell phone. It was like we were forced to be together, and we literally was scrolling Instagram rather than to have to look at a woman in a bow tie. I was like, this should be called the Metropolitan Museum of Getting Rejected by Athletes." Like, and she had this whole conversation in his head, called him out by names, like projecting her insecurities onto him because she's not shaped like a. Look at it.
I'm just imagining how I would react to somebody saying something like that.
Like, what are you talking about? Black Twitter went off on her. Like, excuse me, Lena Dunham, with your narcissistic, racist, sexist, supposed to be feminist self. Like, what are you doing entirely? And she ended up apologizing after everybody came after her. But I thought it was interesting that out of everyone that reached out to her on Twitter, giving her their opinion, she reached out to one specific person who's actually a friend of Black Twitter. He was on our show a couple weeks ago, Xavier, XLNB on Twitter. And they had a conversation, so she ended up ultimately apologizing and realizing the error of her ways. But a lot of people are saying it's not genuine because we've been coming at her for years saying, Lena, this is the issue. Like, you're racist, you're sexist, you're not funny.
Yeah. On Twitter, we had someone said, Lena Dunham is just what happens when you've been told white women are the standard of beauty and the height of desirability.
Can I just say, if I was sitting if I was sitting at a table with Odell Beckham Jr., I don't know that he would look at me either.
Honestly, he probably wouldn't look at me either. He'll probably go back on his phone like, oh, okay, what's up?
I think I'm fine.
Right. But that doesn't mean he's like, oh, she looks like a marshmallow. Like, no, like he can have his own type and his own taste. Maybe he's in a relationship. Like, who cares?
And the fact that she projected all of this onto him when black men have a long, painful history with white women accusing them of hypersexualizing them. Like, for instance, the high-profile case, Emmett Till, who was killed by white supremacists for so-called whistling at a white woman.
Right.
Like, and it took for her to have all these people come at her on Twitter and to have a conversation with Xavier Bergen, who is an outspoken, I think, feminist in my mind, for her to realize this, which is BS, because, come on.
I kind of wonder, though, because she is a comedian, has she have done this, like, in a stand-up format? Would it have been received differently opposed to being written? So.
I think the format is definitely has a lot to do with the perception of it, because I can see that being funny if she's doing, like, a stand-up piece. But just written, everybody can interpret it their own way.
Right. Because stand-up, I feel like that is kind of part of it. You make stuff up as you go, and you fill in the blank for people all the time. But when you write it, it's like you putting a stamp on it. This is what he was thinking. It's like, no, you can't
girl,
say that.
He don't even know who you are. He still to this day hasn't said anything about it. And then she mentioned grinding on Michael B. Jordan. Because she's like a red-blooded American woman. Whatever the hell that means. Even mean? Like, you're a feminist. That's really sexist, Lena. But she apologized. Whatever. I think I'm done talking about Lena.
Yeah, that's enough airtime.
Bye, Lena.
Bye, girl. Bye. Chris Brown.
Oh, man.
How you feel about that, Thurz? That's crazy.
Hey, man. You know, I appreciate Chris Breezy and his artistry. I think that situation was definitely blown out of proportion. I know he had a long history of
he has a history of terrorizing women. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris, but I'm actually.
I don't want to say all that.
You didn't say my words, not Thurz. But I was actually on Chris Brown's side this time. Like, people were characterizing this as a standoff. For you guys that don't know, what happened was there was someone who was in his home with his entourage, apparently, and she claimed that he brandished a gun and threatened her and kicked her out of his home. And then before she called the police, she called TMZ.
Wait, I didn't hear that part.
She called TMZ before she called the police. That's suspect. And then she's wanted in New York for, like, larceny charges or grand theft or something. And her roommate is speaking out openly, saying that she has a history of... She's basically the real-life Joanna the Scammer. And
living like a Caucasian.
Yeah.
Caucasian living
out of my Caucasian house.
Pretty much. And Chris is like, he's putting out these videos on Instagram saying he was asleep, he don't know what's going on, his house is surrounded by the police, like, and people were saying it's a standoff. Like, no, it was not a standoff. The police have to have a search warrant.
And that's my misunderstanding, or what I don't get, is that they didn't have a warrant.
They didn't.
She was not in the house. She was not in harm's way. So why are you guys just standing around my house this whole time? Go get a warrant and come back like normal people do.
No, but they put out barricades.
You got cameras.
Like, it's ridiculous.
I feel like TMZ probably paid her.
Probably.
To do that.
And bottom line is they didn't find any guns. Yeah. They didn't find the so-called necklace that was in question. So her story just seems real bogus right now. And even if that was true,
if you were a guest in somebody's house and they're looking at necklaces, what you doing touching them? I'm sorry, you a guest. This ain't for you, boo-boo. Be happy you're in here.
But you not no more. Like, and everybody knows who you are, girl. You better watch yourself.
Man, right? She like the real life Holly. And what's the show called? What's the show that come on Sundays? Power. When she stole Tasha necklace. She's Holly.
Holly gotta go. Holly's gone now.
It's a new episode of Power tonight, isn't it?
Right.
I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers on Twitter.
I ain't seen it yet.
Yeah, I can't wait.
No spoilers. Okay, so we got the special guest in the house, Thurz. Hey, he from Inglewood like us, y'all. Hey, we representing Inglewood in a Black excellent kind of way today. Right. I'm really feeling this panel right now. But you're a musician. You've been at it for a while, for as long as I've known you.
Yeah, for a minute.
Yeah. What inspired you to become a musician?
I think some of the first inspiration was like the first concert I went to in Inglewood at the Forum.
Which concert?
My uncle took me to a MC Hammer concert with TLC and Joe.
Don't hurt him.
My first concert was at the Forum too.
Who was your first concert?
It was Janet Jackson.
Okay.
My first concert was Michael Jackson.
I think I was there, but I was too little.
Yeah, I was real little. I don't even remember where it was. I was like 6.
That's dope. But that first concert experience, just seeing all the dancers on stage, Jodeci came out like they was like rappers, cursing and stuff, and I was like, what is this? It's crazy. But like seeing that just kind of inspired me, and I liked Criss Cross at the time. My uncle was always playing music and put me on to like a lot of the West Coast music at the time, NWA, Ice Cube, et cetera, et cetera. My older brother put me on to a lot of East Coast music, so it was just always these influences or influencers playing me stuff, and I would just start writing stuff down. Then I learned how to pretty much put stuff in poetry form. So I just always been inspired since a kid to put ideas down and make them rhyme.
Right.
And then in high school, I did like talent shows and just trying to
you was real popular.
It was funny, man. So it's just a growing process, but it started since like 2nd grade.
Okay.
But yeah.
Do you think the digital consumption or the way that we consume music digitally now it definitely has influenced the way that artists are able to monetize in the industry?
Yeah.
I'm like curious as to how that has affected you and your career.
The digital age, I think it I feel like it gives more power to the artist in certain aspects. Because you have like outlets like Spotify, and that's probably the biggest platform to be playlisted on. Like being playlisted is like the new version of radio. So kind of having those relationships, it's still like the similar game of how radio works, but like it's less politics involved, I guess. And being able to be playlisted allows you to be in front of more listeners. Being on SoundCloud, being like a premier artist, get your music to be able to be promoted on that platform, and have hundreds of millions of people tune in, and blogs. So the digital age just gives more power to the independent artists, but there are still powers to kind of fight against. There's always like labels trying to control everything, but digital just, I think it gives a lot more
direct access from the artist to the people.
Definitely.
Like it cuts out the middleman.
For sure, especially with Twitter and Instagram, going directly to the buyer.
So commercially, hip hop has been very misogynistic, misogynoir towards women.
For sure.
And it doesn't really have a lot of substance on a commercial level. Obviously, there are artists in the industry that maintain a certain level of integrity with their music. How do you feel that has played out for you in your career? Because you do a lot of socially conscious stuff, and I rock with you because you're very respectful towards women too. Like, how do you feel that that's played out for you?
I really just try to kind of give a full display of everything. So like I'll do some I guess more conscious records, and I'll do like party records, but I'll just call it like designer music. So there's no parameters to what the subject matter is going to be. It's really just the good, the bad, and however it comes across in that moment. But it's always, I guess, thoughtful. So I try not to be disrespectful in raps. I just really just try to be the person I am in real life on records. So
one of my favorite projects that you did, I think it was your first solo project that you did, LA Riot, right?
Yeah.
What inspired that?
Man, so I just broke up out of the group, you and I. And I was upset about it. I put a lot of work into that group. And me and my manager, we were setting up a lot of business plans. We had an Adidas shoe deal before. We were like the only independent artist with like a shoe deal. Had like record contract opportunities on the table. And, it just wasn't working out creatively. I was putting in a lot and just it wasn't reciprocated. So breaking away from that, there was just a lot of emotions boiling. And then at the time, one of my friends was researching the LA riots and LA history. And we started talking about Rodney King and just everything that took place in LA. And I kind of remembered everything from driving from my grandmother's house. She stayed on 55th and Central, still does. And we were driving down off of Slauson and like Normandy. Everything was popping on Florence and Normandy. And we weren't too far from that, but it was still a lot of activity in that area. And just driving through there and then, reflecting back on the conversation to my side, I just got inspired and I made the song Rodney King. I first made the song Los Angeles. Then I made the song Rodney King. And then it just turned into like this full concept project to where, you know, I'm taking all these emotions I had and just drawing a line to all these historical events in LA. And it just developed into different songs.
And the visuals for that project.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I remember seeing some of them like, damn. Like, it was so potent and powerful. And
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You used your platform and like to create music with substance that's relevant to your own history in LA, you know?
For sure.
It was one of my favorites. Another one of my favorite projects, Designer EP.
Oh yeah.
We played one of the songs in the intro of the show. But it had a lot of like 80s kind of, you know, bop kind of a feel to it. What inspired that whole sound?
Man, we was really funking out, man. We was just really recording off of like Slauson and Crenshaw in that area, and then we having barbecues in this little studio, and I had all my musician homies over there, and we was really just, you know, building songs from scratch and partying, like just drinking and barbecuing and having fun in the studio, and it came across in the songs.
Like it,
And you know, we was trying to we had George Clinton on board to come and narrate the whole project. We ran out of time. It was a collaborative effort with Red Bull Sound Select. So yeah, it was just a fun time, man, and we knew nobody was funking out like that at that time, and
you did that first.
Thank you.
Like,
you engineered that
Kendrick
sound.
came and did that. But you did it first for sure.
Thank you.
You started that trend for sure.
Thank you, ladies.
Who are some of the artists that inspire you? Because I know you worked with like Black Thought, BJ the Chicago Kid. Who else have you worked? Like, who are some of the people that inspire you, or who are some of the artists that you'd like to work with?
Man, Andre 3000.
Yes.
That's my favorite rapper.
Yeah, mine too.
He's incredible, man. Like, he's so dope, and just being in Atlanta and being able to, like, you know, Big Boy would welcome me into Stankonia to work out of there. So just, you know, having that I guess that Southern hospitality in Atlanta just like made me appreciate the Outkast lineage even more. But yeah, 3000 is definitely one of my favorite rappers. Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
Yeah.
You sampled him on your new song.
Yeah.
West Side Bonita.
Yeah.
Let's actually play a little snippet of that.
For sure.
Let's listen to that.
Hey. She a cutie with a booty with a long hair. She a cutie with a booty with a long hair. Yeah. I see you over there. Cutie with the booty with you. Run it back, yeah. Cutie with the booty walking down Melrose. A cutie with the booty walking down Melrose. I see you with your sundress and new fresh toes. I see you with your sunbrush. Yeah, you got that long
Super West Side.
And you talking about women, but it's in a way that I can still be like, hey,
like, yeah, that's me.
Like, I'm the cute, pretty, and my hair kind of long. Yeah.
For sure.
I love that song. Where can we find that song? It's on SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's on SoundCloud, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, all the digital platforms. So.
That's dope.
Tell us some more about Party in My Living Room.
Yeah, so speaking of Party in My Living Room, I got some socks for you ladies.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's my second collab with Stance Socks. And Party in My Living Room, I started it in Inglewood off of like 2nd Ave and was it 108th? Right over there.
Right.
And me and my boy Jay Pounds opened up the house to me, and I just wanted to do a official, I guess, release party celebrating the EP. So I had my band, and we set up in the living room, and you know, I brought a bar in and brought some sound and my sound engineer, and we just do a concert in a house. So like 500 people came out.
Wow.
That's so dope.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it was just something that I saw that people needed and wanted. So I wanted to continue it, and I ended up doing like 4 last year. So
You've taken it on the road, though.
Yeah, taking on the road. Did Chicago. I'm working on New Orleans, New York, Miami, and Paris, and Toronto. So it's a lot of stuff in the
I
works
got
now.
to go to the one you did for Halloween, and it's dope because you have the live band, then you have artists there, you have food there, you got drink there, so it's like it's
live artists too,
it's
like painting
right,
too.
live painting. So it's really creative, and then it's that house party feel that you don't get all the time, especially in LA. You don't necessarily feel safe to go to house parties. So it's like an artsy ass house party. It's really, really dope.
Man, thank you. I just try to have fun and, you know, give an experience for
Right.
people to consume the music and, just remember, give them a memory.
And it's a mixed crowd. That's always cool because you never know what you're walking into. So it was like a cool vibe.
Dope, thank you. You gotta come to the next one, Angie.
I am. I'm gonna come. I've been wanting to come.
Dope.
I've been stalking you on. No, I'm just kidding. Just a little bit. But we got the socks. You have your sock line.
How did this come about?
Yeah, tell us about. Oh, it's your face on here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the girl with the big booty. I like this.
So I drew my face, and then
cool.
I drew the couch, and then my boy Tyree Dillahay of Bob's Burger. He's the creative director over there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he drew the girls. They're actually in this video I did for All Man. These cartoon girls are twerking, so I took them.
I remember that. I remember that too.
So I threw them on the side, and then my boy over at Stance helped draw up the house and the Henny bottle. I was like, yo, I just wanted to represent the house party. Everything you see at a house party or like at a kickback, I wanted to be on the shot. And that's what it came out to be. And, people have been really digging it and copying it online. So.
Do you sell merch at the parties too?
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to start doing. Selling exclusive merch to each date. You're going to be able to get like a tour t-shirt or maybe a tour jacket, some socks, a hat. So it's almost like a marketplace at the house. Yeah.
That's dope.
I love that.
Thanks.
Speaking of artists, but who did the artwork for Westside Bonita?
My boy Dre Kid, Andre Simmons.
Hey, Inglewood is representing all day.
He's incredible, man.
Yeah,
man. To see his growth as an artist is, man, inspiring. And, he keeps me inspired, and he's always bigging me up for what I do. So glad to have him on the team and him being a fellow Inglewood native.
Yeah.
That's really dope. Yeah.
So what can we expect for you coming up? Like, you're doing the parties. Like,
yeah.
What else?
I got mixing down a new project. So it's a process, man. I just want to love every record. I've been trying to narrow down everything I want for the new project. And
you gonna Frank Ocean us and make us wait like 5 years for the next project?
If he has to, yes.
Okay, I respect it. I respect it.
I'm just trying to, get something out that I love, that I could, promote, without feeling like, I'm compromising.
Any features we should be expecting?
I definitely got some homies on there, but I don't know what songs are gonna make the cut.
Right.
But I've been working with a few people, but I keep it really. I guess just really homie based. I don't really go out. Yeah.
Like organic.
Yeah. That's what I really like. I like the organic, just non-forced features. Just, songs that really mean something and come from a real place. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That makes me happy. Y'all, I think we are out of time today. Like, I love this
the
though.
vibe is real cool.
It's like, you have no idea. Like, a lot of people in LA are like transplants from other places. So just like to have like this representation of home, like where we're from, Inglewood, and we're all excellent. Like just demonstrating Black excellence, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much for coming out.
Man, appreciate you ladies having me, man.
And I'm gonna have
appreciate
to check
y'all Black excellence.
You guys, thanks so much for joining us on Black Twitter Talk. You can find me on Twitter at Angie_Skates.
You can find me at the Urban Gypsy LA.
Find me on Twitter at Thursday with a Z, THURZDAY, and King Thurz on Instagram.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. Inglewood.
Hey.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.